Hello, everybody. I don't know how some people have their stuff all set up and ready to go. I always have to do this. You won't like that noise.
You won't like that noise. You won't like that noise.
Or that echo.
Or that echo. Or that echo. Or that
That was crazy. Okay, so let's get the pop-out chat happening. Hello, Hugo and Larry and Rachel and Robert and Michelle and Cobwebs. We are popping out the chat. Okay, it's going to be just us. Hello, Field Walker Masks in Scotland and Oklahoma. James Minnick. We could do both. We could do yoga and still. No, let's just do Still Beast. I've done yoga. Okay. All right. Here's what I have. I have this mold wall that we did yesterday. And I just want to crack kind of along the edge so that help my cleanup a little bit here. This is just a piece I used to help hold on that wall. This is the world's weirdest shaped garbage bag. One that I cut, but this way at least all this clay is going to go somewhere where I can easily throw it out. You did film an unboxing, huh? I was wondering when you were going to open that sucker. I know there's some things in there I didn't know if you would know what they were or not. If you have any questions, feel free. This is a little bit of a surprise. I don't let weird stuff creep into live videos, but rough day today for Mr. Hops. So I wanted to come out here and go live and put on a bright shirt and do something that brings me joy. I like how I set up a garbage can over here, but I'm still throwing the clay into that one. I am your friend, not your smart friend. Go. And this whole time that I'm doing this, because there's a little bit of a lip that comes over, and I'm breaking that off is what I'm doing. But I'm also thinking, and what I'm thinking is, will this mold on this half come straight off of here? I think it will. I don't see anything that's going to cause a problem right now. Very good, Cobwebs, very good. And you have thanked us with your support. All of you guys have. You guys are keeping me sane in this weird time. What a weird time in the world. And what I'm just doing is getting off a clay wall. And Beastman has all these tufts of fur that go back this way. So as I pull the wall off, I don't want to peel that clay back. So I'm having to kind of loosen it and then move it out and then get it out. So it's a little bit of an exercise. I'm about to break the fourth wall by going directly to the opposite side and film from there. Filmmakers are cringing all over the country. Well, probably no filmmakers watch this, but if they did, they'd be cringing. I think being nice is easy. If I refuse to hate something or get angry, a lot of times it's because I don't want to burn the energy on it. It's so much work. What can I put that energy towards that isn't that? Okay, I did just rock his earlobe just now, but it went right back into place. So that's good. Okay. I'll take a little bit of this. John, I've never been called that. As long as you don't mean Ram Man when you're referring to me, that's fine. Okay. A little bit of clay up under there, support that ear a little bit. All of my clay is off for the wall, but I still have a little bit of hangers on. Before I go and do Vaseline on this side, what I want to do is I want to put clay anywhere I think I need to. And this is such a complicated wall that I've got a couple bits of wall I have to kind of get out of here. Okay, that's going pretty well. Yes, better Ram Man than Stinkor, that is true. Towards the end of the series, there was a guy called Blast Attack. And all that he did was he would run up to the good guys and explode. And then someone would have to come along and put him back together. I didn't think that would be a good strategy. And under the ears, there's some areas where I'm just fixing the mold wall. Well, pulling little bits of it off. The pledge is helping because the pledge made a barrier for everything. And the clay wall kind of just comes off without too much of a problem. Most of the time. The only time it is a problem is the time that it's not. You know what? My day is already getting better because I am hanging out and I am making a monster. Beastman is one of my favorite characters ever. So the fact that I'm making a mask that's similar is good. You know, I'm doing a lot of happy things. Had some situational suck is all. And I'm going to add a little clay underneath that chin. By the power of Boofloofs. What I don't want to do is break this off because it's an overhang, and I'm gonna get some air bubbles in there, like I can tell, and that's why I'm filling in a little bit. Filling this in will mean that I don't have to try and get plaster all the way up in there. I won't have a sharp edge of the plaster. So it's just better all around. And I'm fixing this while it's laying this way, but I will flip this guy back onto his back in order to mold. Support is one thing, yes. Support is good. The only danger being that if I put too much plaster weight up here, this could break off. You know, I'm putting weight on it and it's not supported underneath. But I'm not really doing this for support. I'm doing this because no one sees under there. There's no need for it to be that deep. And it's just going to cause air bubbles and an ugly molding situation. I do want to come up under the chin here because it would be really nice if that mask touched my chin right there. Because then when I move it, I'll get a little bit of mouth action. And who doesn't like mouth action in a mask? I don't know if it's restorative, but it is. It's helpful for this particular piece. But a lot of times you might have a shelf like this, and basically it's a cave in there. And since you can't see when you're visually looking at this piece, you can't see up in here. I'm just going to fill this with clay at an angle, so I use less material and I get less of an air bubble. Now we may have terrible internet today because I have the mother of all storms happening pretty much all day. We've had torrential heavy rain. So if my feed goes out, then my feed goes out. This isn't something that I can just stop the molding process. So please forgive me if we lose the feed. But I have faith. Thanks, Lonnie. Lonnie, you seemed pretty surprised the other day when I mentioned I had molded over 2,000 masks. You guys have probably seen 200 or 300 of them. Heck, I mean, I make a lot of stuff. Once again, a huge overhang on this little chin strappy beard bit, so I'm gonna fix that too. And again, just like I did on the last piece, I'm looking at the sculpture and I'm making sure that everything that's happening on this sculpture I like. If I'm not in love with it, then I can fix it before I mold it. People are very fond of saying, well, nothing is set in stone. I'm about to set this in stone. That is about to be untrue. Produce more than you consume. Exactly right, my friend. Yeah, it's funny because sometimes, people be watching in Oklahoma and they'll say, it's raining, and then, 2 hours into the feed, it starts raining here because I get their weather. Or I'll say it rained yesterday, and the guy watching in Florida is like, yeah, I'm getting that rain right now. So, the world, she is small. You have a sleeping baby on your chest. That's good. If you like such things. And if it's your legally obtained baby, that's fine. Yeah, we're getting like spouts of it every now and then. I'm just going to put a little bit more texture on this neck stump. I'm going to cut this off most of the time, and I'll probably cut it right about here. But I want this to have pouring room in the mask. But since it's here, I might as well put some kind of a texture on it. Because even just the lines that this brush puts in will help things glue better. You want to give something some tooth, hit it with some sandpaper. So that smooth latex won't hold contact cement near as well as latex that has some grooves in it. This also, I'm doing it in the direction that neck muscles would come down the neck. So I am giving an implication of musculature. I'm not sculpting any musculature, but I'm giving the implication of it. Probably the biggest word I'll use today. That's why I said it 3 or 4 times. Well, look on the bright side. You get more indoor time to research those outdoor projects you can't do. Yeah, I mean, if you can pull and pour the mask effectively, sometimes there's teeth on a mask that just won't let you pour it well in a one-piece mold. This guy'd have a hard time getting the air bubbles out of his teeth. I'm very happy with these teeth. They're chunky, but I like them. I'm not anti-chunky. Hallelujah, or I'd hate myself. There we go. All right, now I want to put on some things that are pry points. Awesome weather in Odessa, Texas. That's cool. And so pry points are spikes of clay that you put into your mold, so that you put on the mold wall. This is the plaster. This clean wall formed when I made the clay wall, and then I brushed plaster up against it. I pulled that clay off now, and I have this solid wall, which will be, separate the two halves of the mold. There's going to be such a suction, and they'll be together so well that I'm going to have to put some pry points in here so that I can get a screwdriver or something in order to get these two pieces apart. They don't have to be huge, and I prefer if they don't aim directly to the sculpture. Like you see, and also force will travel down that. So I'm going to square off this end. I'm squaring off that end so that when I hit it with a screwdriver, it'll stop right here. And it won't just, it's like a seam ripping, you know, where if something is torn, it's easier to shred from that point on. Get out of there. You evicted. All right, so that's one pry point. I got room for another one over here. James, I am molding the beast mode mask that I sculpted earlier. And when I do this molding, when I pry it apart here in, I don't know, hour and a half or so, I have to remember that these go down this way and not in that way. Do a couple more on the sides. Hello, Michael J. Lassiter. I'm setting up pry points right now. I'll just do 4, that's plenty. I don't mind the pry point being, you know, 1/4 of an inch thick or so. I don't mind that. I don't want it to get real close down to the sculpture. I want it to stay at least an inch off. Because again, that force is going to travel through this. And sometimes there won't be any scratches or anything, but a little chip will be out of the mold. You know, a little chip will be out of the inside of the mold down here. Because the force of your screwdriver just sent a shockwave down there that chipped off the edge. I don't want edge chippery. I tell you guys this, we're officially old. Y'all been talking about the weather for 5 minutes. Okay, so now I'm moving on to the next step. I'm going to go ahead and Vaseline these eyes in. All right, so I know that one of these is going to be a display bust. It might behoove me right now to just put eyelids in here. Now, these are eyelids, but these aren't like there's an eye in their eyelids. Let's do that. So I'm going to do a little bit of sculpting. Not a lot. And he's going to look very sleepy because I'm going to be able to cut these eyelids back to the wrinkle that I want. And this clay will keep me from having to use Vaseline inside of the eye. What's funny is that these eyes have been Vaselined so much, they're like, okay, he's about to Vaseline us. They're used to the drill. But no, I say nay nay. The Stilpy Studios channel, where you spend, you watch me spend 5 minutes looking for the tool I just had in my hand. I used this guy yesterday. Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. And this clay doesn't want to stick because these eyes have been Vaselined so much. So it's going to be a jerk. I still want a nice clean line so I can cut it out for wear. Okay. So just you guys can see what I'm doing. A little bit of shaping in here. Blend these two little lumps of clay together, and I'm going to blend them together so they're going to kind of lock in. So I'm finding a big adjustment in learning to wear glasses, because you have to move your head around in different ways, or else the rim of the glasses stop you from seeing things. I do a lot of close detail work, so that ain't good. These are from Home Depot. I kind of like these. This bust, I'm pretty sure, is going to Rodney Pope. Who is working on an excellent skull mask right now. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cover this eye too before I do any eyelid details. So, because I hate getting one done and having to go back and do the other. I did do the left first, which is good because that's normally the harder one. I'm slightly more right-handed than I am left-handed. I'm not true ambidextrous, but I have worked with my left hand quite a bit. I can write okay with it. I sword fight pretty good with my left, and I sculpt okay left-handed. But you know, you're still right dominant. I really use mirroring a lot when I'm sculpting with my left hand. I might go through the motions with my right and then have my left just copy what my right is doing. He got it exactly like my mock-up was painted. I did a mock-up in Photoshop, which is just classic Beastman action figure look. And I'm very excited to do it. I mean, this is one that I'm definitely going to have one for myself, like to wear. You know, he'll be running around Dark Hour, I assure you. Let's grab a silicone tipped tool. I'm putting in all of those wrinkles you expect to see around an eyelid. And that's just going to make my life a little bit easier when I do a bust out of this. Well, sword fighting is the most important. Spastic plug. It really is. If I mess up sculpting, I don't die. You mess up in a sword fight, you could die. A real or fake sword fight, by the way. Accidents happen. His harness will be done in EVA foam, and I've been eyeing some red fur. That I am going to make that. He has like a capelet thing out of, and I'm going to do a small one for Rodney's bust. Just 'cause I think it'll look really nice. But yeah, this will be, he'll have some EVA components. He'll have, obviously some foam components. A while ago, I actually started a Master of the Universe arm project, and I have this beefy arm sculpted in tinfoil. And I'm going to mold that and make arm sleeves in foam to give you those arms. So, because I'm a girthy boy, that's probably what I will do, is just make my arms look bigger, and then my chest will look all right. Okay. I'm just doing a little bit of a push in to make this eye look like it's not on the same level as the eyelid. Because your eyelid, is above your eye. Little bit of creative pushery. So one time, in a pool hall in Orlando, a drunk friend of mine was talking to me and gesturing with his pool stick. And I turned around at the wrong time, and he put his pool stick in right under this eye and pushed all of this eyelid in, and my eyeball was kind of pointing down. So I went into the bathroom and I ripped the eyelid out from under the eye, and then I went and got my eye fixed. Shannon's actually not here right now. It's just me. Spastic Pug, I would look at a polymer clay that you can bake in the oven and get hard. It gives you a ton of working time. And then if you like one body that you made, then you can make a silicone mold of it and just do some resin bodies, because you're probably not going to do a completely unique pose for every single figure you're doing. But I would look at polymer clay. I think that's going to be the way to go for you. Life-size Battle Cat. Well, heck yeah, that sounds awesome. There's a guy who makes one of those. I saw on one of the Master of the Universe group channel things on Instagram. And he tried to mold it, and that failed. I think he tried to go a little cheap. I hate to say that, but I wouldn't go cheap on a mold that big, you know. This is just a clay shaper tool, and this is going to allow me to smooth out what is possibly the eyeball. Now I'm going to be cutting this out and removing it and putting in some acrylic eyes. But if I wanted to do these painted in, I have that option. Don't limit yourself from the get-go, you know? That's why so often you'll see me cut the ears off of something, because I'd rather put the ears on after, then I get way more options. What up, Ninja? All right, so hang on. I missed the comment, and I have to go back and look at it. Can I call Shannon and have her type in a story on the chat? That's on you guys, man. That's on y'all. Of course I have a plan, Warren. Of course. I think every mask I make, I have an idea. Yeah, I'm live. Yeah. What you up to, wife? Sometime, yeah. Is that it? Okay, hi, wife. My wife is gardening in the rain because she nuts. Yes, her ears must have been burning. Okay, so now I have eyes on this sculpture, but I didn't think I was going to have eyes on. I'm going to get a nice soft brush and just look for anything that's on here that's dust or debris or little bits of clay from the wall or little flakes of plaster. And once again, I say this a lot, I'm going to look for anything that doesn't look like it's on purpose. And I see a little something here. This right here. That doesn't look like hair. It looks weird. So, yeah, we're doing that. Yep, that was just little foldovers, all that was. Okay, that was a very easy fix. And I'm more worried about my angle and my view. Yeah, side view is important. But if they see it from the side, they've already seen it from the front. So they've already made their first impression. Silhouette is the most neglected thing, I think, in a lot of art projects. Silhouette is so huge to the overall perception of the piece. I did just foam fill a Gravedigger mask. These eyes are going to be open because these will be the actor's eyes if it's on a person. DJ, I do have a video. If you look at my channel, it's like in the past 4 or 5 videos. I'm doing a Frankenstein mask, and I do it out of the mold. I foam it in the mold. I do. Okay. I actually write it on the shelf that they're stored on. It's not like you move molds around all the time, so it's pretty easy to just write it on the shelf, and then you know what goes where. It also helps you put things back where they belong. Sometimes I'll carve it in, but normally I don't. All right. I'm actually going to thin this a little bit before I paint it on. It's a cooler day today here in Texas. I should be able to thin this fairly easily with xylene. This is all prep. Right now, we haven't really like started the mold yet. We're still prepping. But mold is in the prep. If you rush through your wall, you're going to have problems. If you rush through cleaning up, if you rush through releasing, you're going to have problems. You know what I don't like? Problems. DJ, no, but when you do a master, you do it as a one piece. So really all you do is you secure it down and you just cover the sucker with plaster. That's the easy part, man. Because normally when you're doing a master, you're turning it from a two-piece mold into a one-piece mold. That's why you foam it and then you Dremel the seam and you just get it to be as clean as possible so you can pull seamless masks. But I'm doing plaster over the clay right now, but I'm telling you, man, doing it over the foam, it's the same thing. I still use Pledge. I do it pretty much the same way. Aside from it's foam it's latex and foam instead of just a plaster and clay bust. See how that Vaseline got thinned down by that xylene? Now that's going to paint a lot better. Pretty complicated mold wall over here in some spots, so I'm just making sure I get all of it. I'm also going to hit the overlap and do about 2 inches on the back side, so any spillover, I don't have a lot, but if I do have any, I want it to come off easy and not give me any problems or grief, because no one wants grief. That's right. You won't have to make a two-piece mold. You just make a one-piece mold because it's foam and you can collapse it and get it out of there. You can't do that with a plaster head bust. So I will be doing that actually fairly soon because there's some pieces right now that I'm doing that I'll probably want masters for down the road. I did one for the Gravedigger to make sure I can make more Gravedigger molds. Actually, I've been thinking about, I'm excited to make the Gravedigger as a mummy. I think his facial structure is good, and I can do the bandage wrapping, and I can do some gold jewelry and some Egyptian accoutrement to it. And I think that'll read nicely. So now I'm Vaseline where I have to be Vaseline. except around these edges. I'm not being as precise with this because I don't anticipate actually needing it. And it's gross to touch a slimy Vaseline mold. Vaseline is like so gross. I don't really like to touch it, you know? Shouldn't have done that. Okay. Yes, yes. Every mask that is gray would make a great gargoyle. But yeah, I think you would actually. Do some nice little like ram horns on him. Keep him gray. I think he'll be fun. So let's pan that. Or let's not pan. Let's pledge this guy one more time. It has a frosty coating of pledge. Well, come on out, DJ. It will be fun. Yeah, he's got nice, chunky, bitey teeth. I'm very happy with his teeth. I too enjoy his teeth. And I'm letting that pledge kind of relax a little bit. I might have a drinking problem. Yes, you can put too much pledge on. If you can no longer see the sculpture, then you have put on too much pledge. At dark hour, Robert Corey was working on something, and he was pledging a sculpture. And I bet he put on a 1/4-inch thick layer, but he just let it foam and just build. It obliterated all the detail. We had to resculpt it because the pledge is mildly acidic to the clay. I mean, the clay is water based, and so is the pledge. So if you put too much on there, you let it sit, it's going to soften your clay up and cause problems. So, you know, be judicious. Yeah, I mean, it is beast man, so it does have a beast-like quality to it. Ease release is okay. I mean, it's chemically very similar to pledge, only it doesn't smell like lemons. It's a beef stick. Delicious. Right now I'm thinking of my plan of attack. I'll probably do the top of the head first because that's pretty easy. Let the plaster get a little thicker before I start painting up in here, so it has a better chance of sticking. Thanks, DJ. I appreciate it. Rodney, no, just look at pictures of teeth. You know, Google teeth, and you'll get images, and make your clay look like those pictures. Rue is going to come over tonight, and we're going to work on the murder hornet. And Friday, Stacy, if you would not mind coming to read comments, I would appreciate it. If you cannot, then I understand, but I will need a comment reader on Friday. Yeah, next thing I do is lay him on his back. Oh, Vaseline works. Well, I don't even know what that question is. Stacy made up that question, so there you go. But I heard some of their options they were passing around. Funny. Here's where all that clay that I had and got let dry out will come in handy. Blocking this out. But now I can get down in the mouth. Now I can get up under here a lot easier. Alan, how do you not get plaster down here? Don't paint it there. Don't put plaster there. It'll be fine. I'm doing oil-based clay Welsh Cal 30. Pop the mold in my foam latex oven on a warm. Yeah, I mean, you're still going to dig a little bit. Oil-based clay just doesn't come out as fast or as easy as water-based. This also shows me up under the ears a little better. I'm just going to fill this one in. And this clay that I added can be smoothed a little better, obviously. Hello, Ford Scott Rodney. And there's just little, any hole is going to become a spike, if that makes sense. Because plaster is going to go down in that hole. And it's going to, every negative will become a positive. That is why mold making is awesome. I'm smoothing out here under the chin just so it looks better when this mask is upside down or whatever. All right. Let's put on our back brace, lest we forget. So when I was a kid, and I thought of this yesterday while I was putting on my back brace. There was a book in the library that I checked out every day. Like, we had library time, I would go and I would grab the book. It was called Norse Gods and Legends. and just neat artwork style, almost a little Van Goghish. And I loved that book. And it had, monsters in it like Garm, and it talked about Thor. And one of the things that it said was about Thor was he had a magic glove to catch his hammer, his magic hammer, because they omit the glove in most everything. A mitt is what they called it, because he could catch his hammer in his mitt and then throw it again. But they also said that he had a girdle of strength, and I'm like, as a kid, I was thinking, man, here's how yesterday worked. Man, why would they call his belt of strength a girdle? Doesn't make any sense at all. Cinch up my girdle. Thor wore a back brace. It was a back brace. So that made him stronger. You think about it, the world's strongest man competition, they throw on their back brace before they do that heavy lifting. And that's a connection that I made the other day while I was putting on my girdle of strength. For me, it's more of a girdle of standing upright. But, what do you do? That's funny. Where do you guys want to be? We're going to do our plaster right here. Okay. What I've been doing lately with UltraCal is making smaller batches of plaster and just doing it, because for a while there I was doing a big batch, and that wasn't working as well. Here's what we'll do. We will film the plaster mixing, because that is an area of mild interest. Then, while the plaster is resting for that minute, we will we'll move the camera to film the molding. Remember that time I wore gloves? Those were good times. Got gloves yesterday, might as well wear them. I will be live tonight. Yes, I'll be live tonight. Yes, I will be using burlap. I probably will cut more burlap in between the first and second layers. No, Home Depot doesn't have that. For latex, you're going to have to go to a specialty supply shop that does mask making. Now, you can probably get slip latex from a ceramic supply place. They might have slip latex, which is used for making ceramic molds sometimes. But most people have to order their latex online. But if you can find latex within a couple-hour drive of your house, do that, because that'll be cheaper than paying shipping. And you get a fun little mini road trip where you can stop at a gas station and buy those chocolate cupcakes with the white swirl on the top. Is that only me? That might only be me. I only eat them when I'm doing a drive that is more than 6 hours long. I don't know why. They're not like good car food or anything. But if I'm in the car and I'm gonna be like 6, 8 hours, I'm like, yeah, let's get some of those crappy cupcakes that taste like chemicals. Perfect. I'm not one of those people who sits around like, I wonder how I got fat. Nope. I know. How could you let this happen? Cupcakes that taste like chemicals? That's how. Okay. So I'm at Cracked Earth. Alexa, count down 2 minutes. My earth is getting crackier all the time. Well, a 100-pound bag was about $40, so I assume a 50-pound bag is about $25, maybe $30. Yes, saving on shipping is huge. Yes, big deal, big deal. Guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. I have to pee. So just watch that and think about what you've done. I'll be right back. No, I am going to be back on tonight. I will be live tonight. I just got to finish this mold, so I'll be live again tonight. So, there you go. So now I have a really nice Cracked Earth. And I probably have room for a little bit more plaster in here because I have some areas that are just straight liquid. See, there's just liquid over there on the edge, but not much. So I mix. I'll be good with it. And you just get to see molding on one side of the face. Alexa, stop as I mix. One time at Monster Camp, yes, retract that message, Stacy. Retract that message. Well, I actually have a bathroom in the shop. I have a bathroom. It's right there. It's like that door. That's the bathroom. That door is outside. That door is a bathroom. I am James. You've asked me what I'm making now a couple times on the same video. I'm still molding Beast Mode mask. Okay. Yeah, so I'm molding Beast Mode mask. Thanks, James. All right. You know what I don't have? A brush. Those things are awesome. A brush to murder. Okay. So it's nice and liquidy right now. I'm gonna start getting it in the places I always worry about air bubbles. If I hit right now in the teeth, then I don't have to worry about the latex being too thick later and causing air bubbles. And my goal with this coat is to get this smooth enough and get everything covered so I can go to a burlap layer. Might have to do 2 coats, but I think I can maybe knock it out in 1 here. And at this point, I've gotten as much of these teeth as I can cover, because any more plaster that I put in here is just going to drool out the side of the mouth. You'll note I'm not putting it on and then spreading it around like I'm painting it. I am dabbing it. I'm loading up a brush and I'm letting it dab onto the sculpture, and that is how I'm letting the plaster come off of the brush. Sure wish I had some of them likes, some of them thumbs ups. Thank you, Michelle. Yep. Can't wait to wear this around and make some noise and scare some folks. That's going to be a good time. So we'll craft an official message later, but Dark Hour had to make the decision that our July show was not going to happen. Right now, there's too much worry about litigation and how that's going to work out, and if not current litigation, but there could be litigation in the future. In that, if we open back up and an actor gets sick while working there, are we liable? And there just needs to be some kind of a precedent set for that, where there has to kind of be a little bit of a lawsuit or be something said. Businesses are not liable. Or whatever, we got to figure that out. There are lawsuits happening already from employees who got exposed while at work and contracted COVID-19. But the way that plays out is that we can't open up quite yet. I wish that we could, because I am so ready to scare some people. But we also have to be safe, and right now, our numbers are not declining. It'd be nice if they were. Sometimes when you have a someone in charge who financially, they have a lot of risk, and sometimes the decisions that you make are not emotional decisions. They are decisions based upon financial risk. Thank goodness this decision was actually taken out of my hands. So I didn't have to do that or have to be a bad guy. I just had to get bad news. Virtual dog days. Stacy, I think that you have actually just had a good idea. And the next time I see you, I will tell you what you just spawned in my head. So yeah, I'm just loading up the brush and I'm getting the plaster off of it. DJ, you are asking a question of me that my wife is much better suited to answer. I'm afraid I just don't know those things. I wake up in the morning and say, "What have we got?" And then she tells me, and then I do that. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I think I have one in August. Pretty sure I have one in August. Yeah, I'll get this mold done here shortly. I mean, we're not far from this point. That's what I need in here. I need a calendar. Alexa, add a calendar to my shopping list. And
I
then,
add a calendar to your shopping list.
and then we can put all the Monster Camp classes up there and all that stuff. So what's happening now is I am getting woefully behind on the other side of the face. But the plaster is still in good shape. Not like it's getting thick or anything. Need to come over here and just do this side of the face. I think my mold wall is canted just a little bit. And that's okay. But what that means is one ear hole is harder to fill with plaster than another. Kind of using the camera to make sure I got all these spots filled. And right now I'm not facing the monitor, so I can't see questions very well. Could I pick up the bucket of plaster and pour it over it slowly? I could do that. How much control would I have? How many air bubbles would I create? So yeah, you can do that. And if your plaster is super thin, you can pretty much be sure it's going to get all the details. But it's going to go everywhere and you're going to waste more plaster than you need to. I'm doing an exercise in economics here. I'm going to use the least amount of plaster possible so that I can make more molds out of a bag. Already these two-piece mask molds would have weighed my old way of doing things. they probably would have been 80 pounds a piece. I mean, they're heavy molds. And doing them this new way where I'm concentrating on making them as thin as possible, really is helping. Yeah, we have one in August, we have one in September, and we're going to put some in throughout the year too. This, you know, this whole, I mean, we had a plan, in, let's just say March 1st, we had the year planned out. Well, then 2020 caught on fire, things changed. So we'll be adjusting our plan. Right now, I'm only going to go to one haunted house and train actors. Normally, I go to 4 or 5, and this year it's only going to be 1. Air bubbles are the enemy. Air bubbles are the worst. And I just have to make sure that I have plaster over everything enough. I want at least an 1/8 to 1/4 inch of plaster over the whole thing so that I can move on to my burlap layer. Hardest part's going to be up under this chin, and I might do a thicker batch just to fill in some of those spots. I still have to make sure that up under these guys has plenty. This type of plaster is Ultra Cal 30, so it's going to take 30 minutes to set up. Oh, this is way easier than the backside because I can lay it down. Gravity is helping me get in all these nooks and crannies of the teeth and the face, so I don't have to worry about air bubbles near as much. I got to worry about under a couple of these spots and behind and up under these ears. Other than that, though, this is, I put it on the brush and I get it off of the brush. I know native notifications are a little funky. I apologize about that. It's not a setting that I have any control over. So now I am getting a little bit thicker plaster-wise. I am well into pancake batter territory. And now that it's nice and thick, I can actually put a little bit on top. Because I know it's not going to run everywhere and cause problems. And that'll help me get some distribution. So there you go, Stanley. That's just for you. Aha! He was driving. Okay, let's go around to the top side. A lot of the times you'll see something from one angle that you miss from another. Okay, so regular plaster, I assume you mean plaster of Paris. And you know what? I don't use plaster of Paris. I don't like it. I don't trust it. It's just not strong enough for what I do or my way of life. So, the other kind of plaster I do use is Hydrocal. I use Hydrocal, and every now and then I'll use US #1 pottery plaster. So, honestly, Hydrocal is about the same. Maybe it's a little bit faster. It might give you 20, 22 minutes or so of working time. The UltraCal here does a better job of it, just thickens gradually over time until finally it's too thick to work with. And the Hydrocal will be liquid, 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 liquid. Don't touch me, I'm done. I'm a rock. Okay. Lanny Mask, where are you? Those sound like UK plasters. You're one of the ones, I don't know where in the world you are. Got it. That makes sense. Hooray, cake time. All right, so now it's even thicker than I want to work with it with the brush. So I have a little bit left, and I've got a little problem area under this ear over here. And I'm going to fill in these guys under the jaw. And this is nice and thick. So I can put it in, and it's not going to run everywhere. South London. I'm from Northeast Texas. Less cactuses, more cowboys. And see, now it's almost like a clay, you know, and I can get this clay-like consistency. But right now, I really have to be careful that I'm not making an air bubble, you know, because air can't travel through that. So when I put it on, I really got to get all the air out of it. Right now, the weather is a bit crap. That is correct. Normally, we're just hot. Today, we are wet. All right, that is, my bucket is just about empty. I have that first layer on. I am going to do a very small batch right now. The humidity changes the plaster a little bit, but not too much. It's not like foam. Like I couldn't foam anything today. It's just too wet. Whatever I foamed would collapse. And Glenn, you're on now, right? So didn't you say the other day that you foamed something with the 26TC 266 or whatever foam it was I used on Frankenstein? Didn't you say you foamed something with it and it shrank? Here's that Frankenstein that I haven't messed with yet. No shrinkage, no. I mean, he's just the exact same as when I foamed him up. So I don't know what happened, but this guy is doing good. My buddy and me. We have a Frankenstein project to do a little later. I'll probably do it as a YouTube Wednesday. I have to lengthen the arms on a Frankenstein mannequin that I've got. It's the same process either way, but that one happens to be, it's going to be a bust. Same process either way though. You're all standing there sideways like you've been drinking. The bucket is clean. I think he means the Frankenstein, yes. This will be a very small batch because I just want to solidify some areas, so I won't do much at all. I don't want to add a lot of weight, so if I make too much plaster, I'll use it because I don't want to waste it, and then my mold gets too heavy. So I did not get those train pictures. I did not get that in my messages. I looked in my messages. Where did you send it? One of the problems that I have with today's society is that we have entirely too many ways for us to get a hold of each other. And oh, maybe you know what? If you send it through an Instagram message, then I haven't checked those yet. Okay, I did not see those. We're friends, aren't we? On Facebook? Are we not friends? If we're not, I will delete a Karen and add you. I checked my other folder. I did check my other folder because I was looking for those pictures. Oh, then I will. I will attempt to make friends with you on the Facebook. And also, I have to set a timer right now. Alexa, count down 2 minutes. My water is getting associated. Yeah, I think that my name right now is Chris. And I just put Chris in, and I look for the first Chris that I don't know, and then I look at their wall and see what kind of stuff they post. And if don't, if they don't add things of value, and I could care less about political affiliation. I don't necessarily want to know what yours is. I don't think you should know what mine is. But if all that you post on Facebook is forwards and memes, then I'm not learning anything about you. I don't know what you're working on. I want to know what's going on with you. So if I'm not learning that from Facebook, then I don't know, just call me, I guess, and I'll figure something else out. But yeah, I'm gonna get myself a beverage while that timer's going on. Had to finish a beverage first. Came back with snacks. And I don't care that actually goes a little bit longer because I kind of want it thicker anyway. I don't want it at its thinnest. I've not had a lunch, so I think I'm having lunch. These are beef sticks. Most of these have corn syrup in them. These do not, so I can eat them while on keto. Yes, it's possible that too much plaster can crush details in the skull, but this is already rock. This is hard. So whatever I put on is going to be supported by what's under it. So just meat sticks. Let's see, how much sodium is in them? Let me put my glasses back on. %15 of my sodium for the day. 370 milligrams of sodium. Mgs. That's a lot. But I don't put salt on stuff. I know my next meal is just going to be a pile of fajita chicken, so I'll be okay. I don't think I'm in a situation where sodium is going to kill me. I think I make enough poor life choices where I'm gonna beat the odds on that one. Understandable. Right now, I do not have high blood pressure. I had it for a time. I had high blood pressure because every time I went to the doctor, on my way to the doctor, I would drink a Monster. He's like, your blood pressure is kind of high. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. So then I went and I did not have a Monster Energy drink right before I went to the doctor to get my blood pressure checked, and it was fine. So yeah, what that tells me is don't have too many of those Monster Energy drinks in a day. There was one day where I knew I messed up. In one day, I drank 5 Monster Energies, the Chaos ones. At the time, that's what I was drinking. And I had 3 5-hour energies within a 24-hour period. Yes, it was a haunt build season, and it was 2011, I believe. Alexa, how much time is left on my timer?
There are no timers set.
Oh, well then I guess I'll mix this up. Goodbye, DM Cash. But I'd also go on like 3 days without sleeping, which may have been the root of the problem. May. And I'm probably going to go right from this batch to my fabric layer, because this will get me thick enough. Yes, I have a werewolf mask that I have the mold for, and I did that as a 3-piece mold because just some of the things were a little wonky on it. So now, yes, now since that, like, so that day changed my life. Since that day, if I have 3 Monster Energies in like a 12-hour period, I can hear my heart beating. Like I hear it in my head. So, and I've checked, I'm actually hearing it. I don't do that anymore, but that was a rough time. I tend to work too much and overextend a little bit, so that was a very rough year. What's funny is, it seems like every year I say this is the busiest I have ever been, but I say that every year. Now this year's a little bit different because we have this whole quarantine thing, except I've been working every night. I mean, every day and every night. I mean, I haven't stopped working. I haven't slowed down the amount of work that I do. I'm just doing different work. Instead of going to Trans World and selling 15 $2,000 full stilt costumes, I'm staying home and I'm selling, you know, 100 or 150 $100 masks, you know. It all works out. That's my goal. I want to get to 100 masks sold. Uh, well, if you're counting blanks and stuff, so if you count blanks, probably right now it's about 4 or 5 a week. Maybe, some weeks it's more, some weeks it's more. It all depends, but if there is an average, it might be 4 or 5. I have a huge advantage because I'm doing so much on YouTube. I'm actually making a little bit of money off of YouTube right now, which is good. Normally, YouTube is a pittance, but YouTube is becoming, worthy of hundreds of dollars, which, that pays to shop electricity. It might handle a car payment if it's a real good YouTube month. Yeah, man, I can't have too many of them anymore. That is for sure. Okay, so the year that I split my pants, and I wasn't going to spray paint my junk. I was spray painting my underwear to match my pants, so no one would tell that my pants were split. Thank you very much. And that was probably like 2007 or 8. A long time ago. I was in a situation where I was, doing masks here and then doing masks for work. Just my work has stopped basically for a while, and here has ramped up and picked up. Lots of support from folks, very helpful, who apparently want themselves some monsters. So I'll tell you guys, don't stop posting like t-shirt ideas on the thread for t-shirt ideas on the Stilt Beast Live Creepers page. Did I say it right for the first time ever? Did I say it right? Because I am adding a bunch of t-shirts. We're going to do a bunch more t-shirts. Yes, and swag. T-shirts last week were a lifesaver, Sure, we can do that. Things that are not t-shirts. I've got some stuff to show you, Stacy, that's in the works that I think you will dig. So this is on. This is ready. I need to give it just a couple minutes. It's thick, but it's not. It won't support what I need it to support. But I'm going to go ahead and put my water in here. He did corner the market on shirts. I did see the orangutan butter shirt. Yes, I saw the orangutan butter shirt. That is quite amusing. Still on my Alexa list. And I was at Home Depot the other day and I pulled up my list and I laughed out loud right in the aisle. Okay. Cool. The world needs more monsters. I have to spend a few minutes letting that harden up. You know what? Let me find it first, and then I will show it to you. The scrap monkey is still moving around the house to surprise and endear itself to my wife. Well, trying to pull up something to show you real quick here. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. You're going unplugged. This is a "The World Needs More Monsters" shirt. That's going to be fun. So, yes. And this one comes in a couple of colors. But they're all the muted colors. And on the back of it, it does say Stiltbeast Studios. So, yeah, this also would come in black. Yeah, that comes in black. What is this? Yeah, that's like a deep navy. And then there's like a green one. But those are all muted. But I swear I'm working on stuff, guys. It's happening, man. So, yes. Oh, that was terribly zoomed in. Aha, that's better. But yeah, I'll have probably that up, is my guess, next week. I'll have a whole store with stuff. Yeah, very exciting. Which also, the way that they do it is, if someone in the UK orders, it ships from the UK. And every 3 days, they will print shirts and send them. So I think that's kind of cool. We have to prep some fabric. But if there's a product that you want, and there will be hoodies, I'll tell you that there will be hoodies. But if there's a product that you want, let me know, and I can probably make it happen. Like, I don't think that the, am I going to sell 1 million Stiltbeast shirts or even 100? No. But 20, 30 is good. For the record, this is the easy way to do burlap for masks. This comes in a roll from Home Depot. It's like $25, and it's 3 feet long. Cut off a chunk the size that I want, and then I cut it this way. And I'm getting all of these little squares of foam, of burlap. Which are ready to help me make a mold. Look at kind of a cigar shape down there, and I just cut into that. But all these are ready-made squares. Yes, there will be women's tank tops. There's also fitted women's shirts. Yes. So there will be. All right. Then I got these size pieces, and I've got the big squares. What's funny, 1980, is that's actually possible. That is actually possible. If there's like a one-off thing that we want like that, that is something, you know, there's an investment of time to design it and get it on there, but that's not terrible. I'm going to manage how much plaster I make. Probably not. I am using dirty water, but the water is only dirty from plaster, so it's not like it's like sewage water, but it's plaster water. So all that's going to mean is it's going to mean my plaster will kick a little faster, and I don't want to spend a long time on it anyway. See all this plaster I'm breathing in right now? It's not the sodium that's going to get me. I think that's going to be plenty plaster for me. That will get me to dry riverbed. Okay, so this is firming up. It's a very soft rock up there right now. Alexa, count down 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Starting now.
Just going to separate these guys so that when I have plaster covered fingers, I'll be able to pick them up one at a time. And I need enough of these to go over this sculpture. Each section should get 2 layers of plaster. I did see your comment. I did see your comment on there, and I will look at my settings to see if there's anything that I can do about that. Advertising is one way that YouTube gives me money, but I also I don't want to do it at the expense of the user experience. You know, commercials every 3 minutes is very excessive. Yes, we are getting very heavy rain. Hey, Brandon. Alexa, how much time is left on my timer?
You have 20 seconds left on your 2-minute timer.
I guess I'll wait. Brandon, thank you so much. That is very kind. I appreciate that, sir. Have fun in your adventure. Have fun storming the castle. Possibly literally, because you're playing D&D. I didn't realize that Hepatron was gooning at you guys this whole time. Alexa, stop. I just don't always know what's in the rainwater. Well, I really don't want to get a brush, but I need to get a brush. That mold right there is the beast mode. Yes, beast mode. Hepatron is already molded, but probably the very next one I pour up, I'm going to foam in the mold and make a buck out of. Because I just see me making him for a long time. And I do like to resculpt things, like, because, you know, in 2 years I'll be a better sculptor than I am today. I hope. So the Hepatron of 2022 or 2023 would look better. And I really like Hepatron, Heptaron. I like him, but I don't think I hit the mark on elegant. I don't think I got the elegance I was looking for. I think my chunky sculpting style still rang through. So we'll maybe I'll hit that next time. It's a fun design challenge to give yourself one word that you're trying to hit and zero in on. What I use to seal my EVA foam props and masks is a wash of contact cement. It is contact cement and xylene. It is pretty much 6 parts or so of xylene to 1 part contact cement. And I keep that, I just keep it pre-mixed, and then I just kind of paint it over things that I'm working on. The dogs are very, very wet. They're enjoying the rain, and they are gross. That's all I have to say about that. So yeah, it is rubber cement, contact cement, thinned with xylene. Now I'm not like squeezing it off of these because I don't mind it being on them. A little bit of drippery is good. And I'm just going around right now and I'm putting 1 coat on almost everything. Wow, 11 inches. That's a lot of rain, man. We have, the road I live on actually floods. So if I get rain like this, like I know tomorrow and tonight, you won't be able to use the main road to my house. You have to go that way. And once I get 1 layer on everything, then I'm going to work on, I'll do a spine, I'll do a couple things to make this mold stronger. Yeah, you know what? I'm actually about to do YouTube Premium because I listen to music. And I'm not in a situation where I can get up and go turn off a commercial when it starts. So I've kind of stopped listening to music on YouTube, but they have a lot of the channels that I like. There's one that's, I listen sometimes when I'm working to dark wave or synth wave, and it sounds like scary video game or 80s music is what it really is. So I listen to that, and it's Alexa doesn't have that. She ain't down with it. And actually, because there's no commercials, if someone who has YouTube Premium watches my channel, I actually get money for that. I get a portion of their subscription, which is pretty cool. Because they know I'm not going to make any ad revenue off of them, so I get a portion of their subscription if they subscribe to YouTube Premium and then watch my channel. That's a neat way to do it. Yes, I do use L200. It's pretty similar. It's just a nicer foam. It is. This is the Beastman mold right here. It's coming along. It's the second half. It is. A lot of times the floor foam from Harbor Freight can have some weird voids in it, little holes and air bubbles, and the L200 is very consistent. Now, for most things that I do, I'm perfectly fine with the floor mat foam. But I don't use Harbor Freight anymore for that. I actually buy my floor foam from Amazon, just because I have found I like the thickness better, because the Harbor Freight mats very uneven in their thickness. Very uneven in their thickness. So, something that I can't always take a piece of foam from one package and then another and use them on the same project, because one might be 3/8 and one might be, closer to 1/2 inch. It is a significant difference from batch to batch. Okay, so I'm going to have to do one more batch just like that. Happy I did it this way. I feel I had control the whole time. I'm going to fold it over. And I'm going to do a little collar down here, which is going to thicken up this bottom edge of the mold. Yes, Jake, I do. They're a little bit more expensive, but it's worth it for me. I'm selling things, so I have to have consistency. If you're just making things for you, consistency's not that big of a deal. But I don't want to sell, 2 helmets to people, and then they buy them a month apart, and then they say, "Why is this one so much thinner than the last one you sent me?" Because that's what Harbor Freight gave me, I can't be in that situation. Easter Island head that spits out bubble gum and dum-dums. Okay. That's interesting. I like where you're going with the whole Easter Island thing. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Maybe I can get one more out of this. Scraping the sides, scraping the bottom. Make sure we get this saturated. Nobody likes dry burlap. Okay, that's why Easter Island head and saying dum dum is in my head somewhere. So the Createx paints that I think you're talking about, Jake, are the Tim Gore's Bloodline paints. Tim Gore's Bloodline, does that sound familiar to you? Createx is okay. I mix my own and I use those with 1/3 casting latex, 1/3 distilled water, and 1/3 casting latex, 1/3 distilled water, and then 1/3 latex house paint from Home Depot. That's my mix for most foams and things, yeah. You're gonna put a kid's eye out in 1980. No, well, I blow, there's always little bits of clay and there's baby powder and stuff in the mold. So if you just blow it out with an air sprayer, then you're ready to go. So yeah, you can pull a mask and then you can pour another one up right away. Now you'll get air bubbles, and the mold likes to rest a day. It's nice to rest a day, but you don't have to. Yeah, I have heard of a dark ride with live actors. Some friends of mine worked at a place called Dracula's Castle in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and it was a haunted boat ride where the actors scared you. So there we go. Thanks, Stacy. All right, I'm going to mix plaster here in a moment, but first, a message from our sponsors, which means I have to step in the little room for a moment. Yes, I love a dark ride. Okay, so it's going to mix fine with bottled water. The reason you want distilled is shelf life. If you mix it with tap water, then it's use it all right then. Because if you store it for a week or 2 weeks, it's going to get little clumps in it. And that's because of the minerals in the tap water. And distilled water does not have that. "1980, you're putting a lot of work into this. A very interesting design. I was actually thinking about some kind of a Rube Goldberg device that would, you kick off this process and then it goes through all these different steps to get candy to children. It kind of sounds like you are too. Making it rain! Do you mean like plants, Scott? Like a plant in the group? Is that what you mean? Yeah. We don't at dark hour. Our throughput is just too high. I'm going to get better service out of an actor by having them be in the show somewhere for the guest to encounter. If I wanted to put an actor with every group, I would need 16 more actors. And if I had 16 more actors, I'd put them in the show. That works great on smaller shows with less throughput. We were on track to do about 30,000 this year, so we'll see how this year goes. I don't want to fight the clumps. I'm going to let the water do the work. Alexa, count down 2 minutes.
2 minutes, starting now.
That's awesome, 1980. That sounds really cool. Is that a leprechaun in your profile picture? Is that what that is? That's awesome. I was thinking about making a leprechaun for YouTube Wednesday. Like a little standalone leprechaun prop. It's nowhere near that time of year, but it could be anything. Or do you think that's too close on the heels of the monkey, or do you think that'd be good? Oh, very cool. I'll have to check it out. I have a special place in my heart for gin. Alexa, stop. All right, so now I have to go around this guy on the edge. Enjoy Venom, Michelle. Haven't seen it yet. Venom. And the whole time I'm putting these on, I'm pushing and I'm making sure that we don't have any air bubbles. Air is our enemy. Are you here? Twisted Vixen, here I am. Your Rocket Queen. Here I am. Your Rocket Queen, oh yeah. You know, sugar. Thanks. Yes, air is our enemy. You can. I would probably mold those separately if you feel you need to mold the horns. A lot of the times on horns, I just do a build-up. There's such a rough organic structure that I don't necessarily feel that they need a molded texture. But it all depends, you know. You might want your horns to be very different from what I make my horns look like. So if I was doing a rhino, I would just make the horn out of EVA foam, and then I would cover it in liquid nails, and then texture that liquid nails, and that would give me the texture that I wanted. Thank you, Twisted Vixen. I appreciate that. Don't tell me how Venom ends either. I haven't even seen it. I don't watch a lot of movies. I would do a very simple EVA foam horn, 2 halves in that scimitar shape. Well, there's 2 horns. There's one on the front. Well, are you doing a black rhinoceros or a white rhinoceros, or are you doing the Spider-Man character who is the rhino? All of them have different amounts of horns. But I would still do them out of EVA foam. Oh, you're a Rocksteady. Okay. Yep, I would do those build up style. I wouldn't make a mold on them. And I'm going to thicken up this wall in a few spots. Down there at the exit. I've got some hollows here under the ear still is giving me some problemos. Smooth that out. Thank you, Twisted Vixen. I appreciate it. Gregory, I can do that. I could do a mask treatment YouTube Wednesday. For sure. That's a good idea. I got under this chin here. And I've already decided I'm going to do one more batch, just one, so that I can put another layer of burlap over the face. So it'll be a very small batch. Twisted Vixen, do you make stuff? Just so I get a sense of who I'm talking to, or what rough age are you? Are you teens, 20s, 30s, 50s? Looks like there's a profile picture, but it's tiny. Twisted Vixen, by the way, sounds like a band name from the late 80s, early 90s. I am indeed on the YouTubes. Twisted, you make masks? It's terrible, Cobwebs, terrible. You're saying it was cancer, but I actually thought that he was on on like a parking lot tram, and they were hit by a backhoe. That's how I thought he passed away. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the exciting world of plaster mixing. Don't eat the plaster. It is not a delicious snack food for dogs. Okay, that is plenty. For what I have to do, that's enough. Let's go smash that. Yes. Oh, you meant Vixen, not Twisted Vixen. I do remember Vixen. Oh, Cheney has tried it. He is sure. And right now, okay. Alexa, countdown, 2 minutes. I'm waiting for that plaster to soak in.
Starting now.
Cheney smells the beef sticks that I have up on the table. If you look, you can see the top of their bag right there. And he is trying to figure out where that delicious smell is coming from. Gonna drive him nuts. Yeah, for like female metal people, you had Vixen and you had Lita Ford, and that was it. Those are your options. So yeah, I'm gonna do the face, and I'm gonna do a spine from the top all the way down. That will just add strength to the mold. This mold is still actually pretty thin. It's a very thin mold. I don't think I'll have to wet it down first. It's actually still pretty moist. Oh, my swag thread is exploding. Gotta chase down the beef sticks. There was Joe Jett, that's true. Pat Benatar was not heavy metal. And Femme Fatale and Dora Pet were heavy metal, but they were pretty, obscure. They were not mainstream. Alexa, stop. Is what easy, Twisted Vixen? Is what easy? Whitesnake, man, that's a good band. They had some killer songs, man. All right. No, they didn't. That was not Whitesnake. The band that started the station fire was Great White. Do not disparage one metal band to save another. I wouldn't say it's hard. I would say it takes a set of skills that take a little while to develop. So it's neither easy nor hard, but it's something you have to learn how to do. So you may not know how to do it right off the bat. Once you learn, you might say it's easy. And before you learn, you would say it's hard. You know what? White Lion is awesome. The Pride tape, I played that sucker out, man. I played that every night. When you go away, you know that I will follow. Wait, wait. Yep, good stuff. Well, you can't make fun of everybody who got themselves caught on fire. That's a pretty big list. James Hetfield ran into a GERB. Yeah. Richard Pryor just told you it was a good idea not to do drugs and then do fire stuff. Or combine the two. Whoa, dinner's ready. That's awesome. I'm almost done with this mold. That makes me happy. That's just good timing. Is there a Geico commercial with rat in it? I haven't seen it, but I don't watch a lot of TV. I'm in here doing this. I don't lament not watching TV, by the way. I'm not saying that like I'm sad. I'd probably rather be doing this. But you guys can kind of see that I'm building these bands onto this guy. And you guys all the way over there. What the heck? I thought you would find a use for those crab legs. Who's that Du Hast band? My wife likes those guys. Rammstein. Those guys are definitely from Germany. Okay. So these bands are just gonna, anywhere the plaster should be, the mold is gonna rest on the table. It's just gonna be a thicker piece of plaster. So, Dirk, you're on quite a bit, and I'm just curious as to whether or not you are male or female. Or a pleasant mix of both. Either one is fine. Now is when you're kind of have to babysit your plaster just a little bit. I don't want this to become hardened up. You know, I don't want it to become a rock when it is all spiky. So I want to just smooth it out. It happens. It happens. And names don't help. So here we are, guys. So what's going to happen now then is I will let this cool or cure up while I go have dinner. And then when I get back, I will crack open this mold. So I will go unlive for a while, and I'll come back on about 6:30, 7 o'clock or so when Rue gets here, and he'll be working on the Murder Hornet. And I will crack this open and do some other things that I must do. Yes, I have the pumpkin head to do. I have a couple things to do. Because the pumpkin, I think, gets turned into a full sock mask. You guys are awesome. Hate to do this to you. You're having a great heavy metal conversation. But I have to go, and you guys have to go make stuff. See you in a bit.